Good morning, everyone. So it's been a while. I haven't been on YouTube in a while. And the reason for that is because I have been so busy with the holidays and, with fourth quarter and everything that entails. And we just been, starting some new businesses and revamping our current businesses. And it's just been really, really super busy. And yesterday, I was watching a video by Lindey Glenn, and it just prompted me to come on here this morning and make my own video because her video touched me in such a way. When you watch Lindey Glenn, she does Motivational Monday, and she motivates everyone and she answers questions. So we usually see her very, bubbly and, happy. But yesterday she did a video and she broke down in that video, and the reason she broke down is because she's feeling overwhelmed. And this is something that I can relate to, and I'm sure many of you out there can relate to. And people that see what we do on the outside that's not doing what we do, they think that our lives are easy because many of us work from home. And that's just not the case. It's not easy. And, actually I work harder doing this than I worked when I was doing my job as a nurse. And it's longer hours. It's more physical work. And my husband has started helping me with my business when he's off on Fridays and on the weekends. And he tells me when he helps me, he says, wow, I work harder here with you than I do at my regular job. And he said, people really don't know what it's like to do what you do. He said, unless they really are doing it themselves, they have no idea. And so, we tend to put out there a view on social media of the good things about this business. That's what we show a lot of the times. But we don't show the bad part of the business a lot of times. And, when you're doing this business, and, some people are just, reselling through the items. And then other people are doing that. Plus they're doing like their YouTube channel. And they're doing stocks. They're doing different things. And it gets to be overwhelming. And, it's just, I don't know. Like Lindey Glenn said yesterday, sometimes she feels like quitting. And I kind of have those days. Not really that I feel like quitting. But some days, I do feel like, okay, I've got to back off of my business and take a break. And not work on it so much and concentrate more on my family life. Because for me, my biggest struggle is not sourcing, it's not listing, taking photos, any of that stuff. It's not the actual part of running the business. My biggest challenge is having a family and managing my business. Lindey is doing a declutter December 2019, something like that. She's doing some kind of challenge, and she's planning to get her home in order. And she showed her kitchen, of how it's unorganized, and she's gonna redo it. And I totally relate to that because I spend so much time working on my businesses that I don't take time to organize my home, plan meals, any of that kind of stuff. And a lot of times things piles up in my house, and a lot of times we'll end up having to eat out. And sometimes that can be overwhelming. It makes you feel sometimes like you're not doing your job as a wife, as a mother. It's not to knock the men out there, because there are plenty of men that are doing what we do, and they are taking care of their families. I've seen that, and I commend those guys. But I do think that for many women, that when, you know, they have it harder, because for a lot of families, the task of caring for the children and cooking and that, you know, the home, that falls on the woman a lot of times. Not always. You know, there are men out there that share in those responsibilities. So I don't, you know, I'm not disregarding that at all. But for some households, that is the way it is. And for those women that do have to take on the main task of doing those things, plus trying to run a business, it can get overwhelming. And, you know, that's my case. My kids are older, so I have a little bit easier in that sense. But, you know, the home, the cooking, that kind of stuff sort of falls on my responsibility. And I totally understand why Lindey Glenn feels overwhelmed and why she feels like quitting sometimes. You know, I try to come up with plans because I think I love doing what I do. My passion is not taking care of my home. My passion is not cooking. Those are just things in life that we have to do. My passion is my business and helping others go further in their business. That's what makes me happy, when I can work on that. I can sit at my desk all day in my room in here that I work out of. I can stay here literally, like, from the time I wake up until it's time to go to bed and do nothing but this, because I love it so much. And when I go to bed at night, I'm excited to come to work the next day and get started. And many nights I can't even sleep for thinking of ideas and thinking of things I want to do in my business. But, you know, life hits us and it gets overwhelming. And some days I think, well, I'm just going to, you know, I'm going to figure out a plan. I'm going to spend the day time focusing on my home, planning meals for my family, doing laundry, you know, that kind of stuff, so our family life is good. And at nighttime, I'll work on my business. That's what I think I'm going to do. But then, in the afternoon, my daughter gets home from school, my husband gets home from work, and they need attention, and it just doesn't usually happen at nighttime for me. And so I get back into the same old routine of waking up in the morning, get started, working on my business, you know, and it's the same thing. Like, there's no time for anything else. So, I just wanted to make a video because after listening to Lindey Glenn, you know, it really hit home with me, and I thought to myself, I get it. Like, I totally relate to how she's feeling, because I feel that way quite often. And at the time I was watching her video, I was watching it on our TV in the bedroom last night. And my husband was laying in the bed beside me. And he's not big into all this reselling. He does help me, but, you know, he's got his own job, his own business. Like, he does his own thing. But he does like to listen to the reseller videos that I watch. And he was listening to it, and he was like, I don't get it. Like, what are you learning from this? You know, he thinks every video I watch, I should be getting something out of it, or, you know, learning something from it. And I was like, it's not about that. You know, usually she does videos where she answers questions and you learn. And I said, but I can really, really relate to this video. I feel this way, you know, and he didn't get it. You know, he wasn't into that video, but I was, because I totally got it. And I just think it's so great that she put that video out, because I know there are so many women, and not even just women, I know there's a lot of men out there too, that feel overwhelmed. And I think it's important for other people to know they're not alone. They're not the only ones that feel that way. The reselling business can be a lonely business, because, you know, we're just here by ourselves most of the time working. And, you know, we have interaction with maybe the UPS guy, the postal service guy. But we don't have the co-workers around us that we can vent to, talk to. And it gets lonely. And then you're working your butt off and you get overwhelmed with everything else going on in life. And, you know, speaking of that, let me tell you what happened to me yesterday. got up yesterday. My mama had a doctor's appointment, right? And that's one thing that I love about what I do is that I have the freedom to do whatever I want. I don't have to ask to be off. I can take my mom to all of her doctor's appointments or whatever she needs to do. And yesterday, you know, it has gotten harder because my business has picked up so much and it's grown so much that it's getting harder and harder to take her to those appointments. And yesterday morning, she had to be at the doctor at like 10:30. So yesterday morning, I got up and I got started right away on shipping out orders. But I had a bunch of orders to do. And I was like, oh my gosh, I just got to get these orders done before I leave. So I was really pushing it and I was really stressing myself out trying to get these orders done. I did the last order. It was a big wholesale order that I got packaged up. And I got that done like right at the time that I needed to be leaving, right? So I got all the packages in my car, went out to my mailbox and I dropped it off and everything. And I headed out going down the road and I got a speeding ticket. And it was my first speeding ticket ever. I'm 44 years old and I never got a speeding ticket. But at the time when I left my house to try to go, I knew I was like pushing the limits on the time. But I really wanted to take my mom so she wouldn't have to drive. And I just wasn't thinking, you know. And I came to a spot down the road that the speed limit changes like really fast. And it goes from like 55 to 35 or something like that. And I just wasn't paying attention. I was just thinking that I needed to hurry up, you know. And when I came around the curve, the cop was right there waiting. And I was doing 51. And I was like, oh crap. Like I knew as soon as I saw that cop that I was getting pulled over. And I started trying to slow down really fast, but I knew I was a goner. So sure enough, she, you know, spun her car around and she came after me and put her blue lights on. And, you know, I pulled over and she gave me a ticket. And I told her, I said, man, I said, this is my first speeding ticket. I'm 44 and I've never gotten a ticket. And she was like, oh no, you're making me feel bad, you know. But I was like, no, don't feel bad because you're doing your job, you know. So, we just had a little conversation about how easy that spot is to speed through. But it was an eye-opener for me because, you know, I texted my mom when she had me pulled over and I was waiting on her to write up the ticket. I texted my mom and I said, hey, I just got stopped by the cops. I'm getting a ticket. You might as well go ahead and leave and go to the doctor because I'm not going to make it. So, she went ahead and she did that. And she called me after and she said, that's it, no more. You're not going with me to the doctor anymore. You're too busy. You have too much to do. You're not going anymore. And, when it happened, you know, I knew I was feeling overwhelmed yesterday morning before it happened. And I knew, like, this is getting to be too much. I'm taking on too much. You know, I try to do too much. My mom can go to the doctor by herself. You know, it's not like she can't drive or she's disabled or anything like that. Like, she could go to the doctor. But, you know, my father passed a year and a half ago. He passed away. And she was used to having him to do everything with her. And, you know, sometimes I worry about her because she is getting older. She's not as sharp as she used to be. And I just like to go with her to make sure that everything's okay. You know, she makes it there and makes it home okay. But she could do it on her own. So, you know, it just kind of hit home. And I thought, you know, I am going to have to back off and stop doing so much, you know, I'm just going to have to focus on my business, and I will take her to the doctor appointments that are far away that I don't absolutely want her to drive to by herself. I will do those. And we talked about it yesterday, and she agreed that that's what needs to happen. So that's what's going to happen. You know, but my husband gets frustrated with me, and he tells me all the time. He says, you do too much. You try to take on too many things. And he said, a person can go crazy trying to do what all you do. And I know he's right, but I have a problem. And I can't help it. Look, I'm just being honest with you guys. I can't help it. Like, my mind, it goes constantly. It will not stop. And I constantly come up with ideas. And I'm sure you guys are like this also because you know, a lot of people that are entrepreneurs and that are in this business, they have creative minds. And when you have a creative mind, your mind doesn't stop. And when I lay in the bed at night, I lay there trying to fall asleep, and my mind is spinning, coming up with either ideas of how to help my business get better, ideas of videos to do, ideas of new businesses to start up. And that's one of my problems, is that I'm trying to do so many businesses. Okay, so like I have my eBay store that I do. We have 3 Poshmark accounts, okay? I have my regular Poshmark closet. My husband has a Poshmark closet. And then we have the wholesale closet on the wholesale portal on Poshmark. So that's 3 accounts to manage on Poshmark, plus the eBay account, plus we have Mercari, plus we have our own website on Shopify, plus we have investment properties that we rent out to people that I have to manage. That's my husband's business, but I have to manage it. We have that, and then I've started a new business very recently with my sister, because my sister, she's had changes come about in her life. She's struggling financially a little bit, and she comes to me and she says, you know, can you help me? Can you try to help me figure out something that I can sell to make money? She says she can't do the reselling of the clothes because she can't go to the thrift store and look through all the clothes. You know, she says she doesn't have the patience to do that. So I come up with a product for her to sell. It's jewelry, and you know, we're going to do it together, but my goal is really just to get her started in it, show her what to do, because she has never done businesses. Like, she's the only person in my family that's never had their own business. My sister has done it, my parents have done it, I do it, but she's the only one. She's just a little different than all of us, but she doesn't really know what to do. So, you know, I thought, okay, I'll get her started. I'll help her out. We'll do this together. It could be profitable for me. I don't know. But I thought we'll do it. And my goal is to get it going. Let her take it over. Let it be her thing. And a way for her to make money. But we'll see how it goes. It's called snappysister.com. But that's another project that I've taken on for someone else. It's just adding another thing to my plate. But you know, you have a family member that comes to you and they need help. What are you going to do? I'm out here like trying to help all these other people go further in their businesses and give them ideas, and you got a sister that contacts you, and what are you going to say? You know, I can't help you. So I did that. You know, and I have a lot of people, they see what I do and they send me messages on social media. These are like personal friends of mine, you know, family, personal friends. And they'll say, help me. Tell me what I can sell. I need to make money. Tell me what to sell. And you know, what I used to always tell my sister was, hey, if I knew what to tell you to sell, because she would always say, I don't want to sell what you're selling, but tell me something else I could sell. And I would say, hey, if I knew something that you could sell and make money, I would be selling it myself. But people, you know, they contact me and they'll say, you know, help me, I want to sell something. So, you know, what I tell them, because, you know, I know some of these people, they don't have a lot of money. They're struggling, right? So they don't have a lot of money to invest. So I tell them, take a little money, go to the bins, buy you some clothes, get really good brands, research it, and resell them. Or I've told them about Paparazzi jewelry because, you know, it's something that I have personally seen. Some people that I know, they take it on, they sign up. The profits are low in Paparazzi, but I've seen people make a couple of $1,000s a month selling it. You know, it's all about the hustle. And so I tell people that, you know, that's a good way. Well, guys, as I was filming that video, for some reason it cut off. I don't know if I ran out of memory on my SD card or what. But basically, I was just talking about how I've told people about paparazzi jewelry and the profits in paparazzi being low. But I have seen some people make a couple of $1,000 profit in it. And so, it's a low startup cost of like $99. But it's all about the hustle with paparazzi. And, that's another idea that I've given to people. But, people want the answer. And it's taken me a long time, many years to get to where I'm at right now. And, I just think that if you have to ask someone to do all the work for you, that you want them to do the legwork, the research, and all that, and just hand it to you, you're probably not going to make it in this business, because you have to have, you got to be a self-starter, a self-motivator. You have to be able to do, but that goes back to me saying that I don't think a lot of people realize, how much work this business is. And it just, it goes back to me talking about the burnout that we experience. It's real. And we just have to take time sometimes for ourselves, for our own mental health. So, I'm just going to cut it short now. I had more on that other video that was recording, but it got cut off. But I'm just going to cut this one short now and not bore you guys. But I just wanted you guys to know that if you're experiencing any of these feelings, you're not alone. It's hard. This business is hard, and it's frustrating, especially days that we have slower sales. It's really frustrating to put in the work and not see the sales come in, but we're still blessed to be able to do this business. But be sure to subscribe to my channel. If you aren't already subscribed, be sure to hit the bell notification below to be notified of when I go live or when I upload new videos. And be sure to leave me a comment and let me know what you think about Reseller Burnout. Did you guys watch Lindey Glenn's YouTube video? I would suggest that you watch it if you didn't, because it was really raw, really real. She just let it out how she feels. And I thought that was great. I'm sure you guys will relate to it as resellers and as business owners and as people with families that you're caring for. I hope you guys are having a great fourth quarter. I hope you're getting a lot of sales. I do think the fourth quarter is actually contributing to a lot of our stress right now, because, the opportunity is there to make more money and get more sales. We feel, I would say, a little pressured by that, to take advantage of the time. But we can only do what we can do. So you guys just keep that in mind. Do what you can do. Don't overdo it. Take care of yourself. And take time off when you need to. All right, guys. Have a great day. Thanks for joining me here today. Bye, guys.